From the Storm Tracker 5 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Tim Jones, here in the Weather Center with meteorologist Nathan Gogo. Very dangerous situation building up here. Tornado watch, and this is a particularly dangerous situation. Elevated tornado watch issued by the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. Already the first tornadic supercell thunderstorm of the day. We'll zoom in on this storm here. Very, very strong rotational couplet. Of course, already have a tornado on the ground. Guys, why don't you bring up the laptop for me, and we'll show Ben McMillan's live stream as he's starting to reposition his chase vehicle. From the Storm Tracker 5 Weather Center, meteorologist Tim Jones here. We have a large damaging tornado live on Ben McMillan's storm tracking on his stream here. This is just by Pilger. This tornado is moving towards Pilger and also Wisner. Now, this is just outside of the KSNB viewing area, but I wanted to show you this is what we can expect. Two tornadoes on the ground right now. The parent tornado obviously right in the left center of your screen, with the satellite tornado just off to the right. Ben is a trained professional. He's chased with me for many years. Obviously, I was with him on Saturday. But once again, we have a large damaging and destructive tornado. We're showing you live on air here in northeast Nebraska, moving right over Highway 20. That would be moving through Pilger and around the Wisner area as well. So anyway, this is also, he has this stream live on the Weather Channel right now, as I'm being told here. There's a tornado moving across the highway. That's probably Highway 20 right here, with another very large tornado now off to the right. We're watching twin tornadoes here, folks. Obviously, you can see the rotation right there. Not a good idea for those cars to be driving right at it here. So again, very particularly dangerous situation setting up here in Nebraska. We expect more development with storms back to the west of Norfolk and to the northwest of Columbus and to the north of Grand Island. Whether we get any type of development south of Grand Island, around the Hastings area, down to the Kansas border, still remains to be seen. We're still capped off down here, which means we may get lucky down around this area. It may hold off another couple of hours, but in the meantime, the tornadic threat, and obviously you see a very large, violent tornado on the ground here from storm chaser Ben McMillan in northeast Nebraska, but we expect this threat to continue closer to our viewing area into northern and north central Nebraska over the next several hours. There you see that tornado right there as Ben continues to track it. And this is Ben McMillan and Brendan Johns from the Iowa Storm Chasing Network. And of course, you've all met Ben and Brandon before, because he's been in the studio here with me many times. I chased with him on Saturday. Very seasoned storm chase professional. And to my knowledge, tonight, this is the first time we've ever, other than Saturday, streamed tornadoes like this here on KSNB TV. Obviously, we're here to keep you safe. We want to show you the storm, not as well as tell you about it. This is a very monumentous occasion here, because obviously this isn't a good thing. We don't want to see tornadoes, but not only one very large damaging tornado, but two as well. And you can see Ben just zoomed in on that, and now zooming on the other one. And meteorologist Nathan Gogo, I'm not sure if you're mic'd up here, but we don't see a situation like this here very often, where we see two very large tornadoes. Are you with me?
Yeah, I am. The tornado warning, just want to get this from the National Weather Service. This is from Omaha, and a tornado warning remains in effect until 5 p.m. for southeastern Wayne, northwestern Cumming, and northeastern Stanton counties. Of course, this is just near the area, the same storm system from Stanton, and at 4:17 p.m. a confirmed tornado, which you're seeing right now live on your screen, was located near Pilger, or 18 miles east of Norfolk, moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So they're not moving too fast, but obviously two tornadoes right now on the ground, damaging tornado and up to 2-inch hail, and of course flying debris. This is until 5 p.m. Of course, if you're in Pilger or know someone in Pilger, they want to be in their safe spot. Also just north of Wisner, and this is going along right around Highway 275 in the intersection of 15, just to the Highway 15 and Highway 275, that intersection, and that's moving, of course, to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. Of course, now this is to the southwest of Thurston, southwest of Pender. This is moving in that general direction. This is actually just south of Wayne. Wayne was hit by a tornado last October, and this is just maybe 10 to 20 miles south of Wayne right now, Tim.
Yeah, and Nathan, if you're just joining us, we have two very large damaging tornadoes on the ground, as Nathan said, up around Pilger and Wayne area. That's in northeast Nebraska, just on the outer reaches of our viewing area. Granted, we want you to see this, obviously, because this is a very serious occasion here, but we expect more storms like this to build further to the west of this particular storm, north of Interstate 80, with very obviously dangerous and volatile situation here setting up, all because of this morning's convection or thunderstorms that moved through and laid out some significant outflow boundaries. And when we get major tornadoes like this, storms need boundaries like this to form large destructive tornadoes, and this is what we have. And you're watching one of two tornadoes here streamed by Ben McMillan from the Iowa Storm Chasing Network. Obviously, you know Ben. He's chased with me. I chased with him on Saturday. He's provided a lot of videos for us here at KHAS-TV, and we very much appreciate him giving this to us to help. We can show you, not only tell you, Nathan, about what the storm looks like, but also we can show you what the storm is like as well.
Yeah, and of course, again, this is moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. We're tracking this also on radar, and this is just to the northeast of Pilger. And the good news is, Tim, that this is pretty rural area, but of course we don't want this to become anywhere hitting any place that of course has population. Northeast of Pilger, this is moving again at 30 miles per hour, again in a pretty rural area. This is crossing over the interchange of 275, Highway 275 and Highway 15. That's moving into, again, kind of a rural area.
There's some power flashes we just saw right there with that. So.
This is moving towards the Highway 16, where it just off to the west of Pender, the town of Pender, and southwest of Thurston. And then that will be moving towards Highway 9, towards the areas, if this keeps going, towards the areas of Wakefield and Emerson and Thurston as well.
Yep. And you are seeing right now here on the bottom left of your screen, obviously a very large tornado. You can see right above the horizon and there, I think Ben's turning to the other tornado, but you can see that debris field right there. Right there, you just saw a power pole blown over to the side. Here comes another one right here. So obviously, and if that other tornado, and there's a satellite tornado going around just to the right, so obviously a very large and damaging tornado on the ground here. And if that other satellite tornado, that other large tornado just to the left of this one is still on the ground, some of these areas could be hit twice, Nathan. So I have a very dangerous situation.
Sad news. There was a storm report of a home destroyed approximately 6 to 7 miles northwest of Stanton. A storm chaser also reported tornado moving across Highway 275.
Say that one more time, because I'm not sure if your mic was on the entire time.
Home destroyed approximately 6 to 7 miles northwest of Stanton. Storm chaser also reported tornado moving across Highway 275. That was just 20 minutes ago, and that's already passed. And then another report of a home destroyed I don't know if that's in Stanton. According to the storm report, it is, but it looks like it moved to the west of Stanton, that storm. But it could have clipped part of the town. Again, this is moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. We're starting to get storm reports in. Obviously, a very damaging, maybe even violent tornado. We don't know, of course, the wind speeds, but it looks pretty violent on our live stream right now. Again, this is just moving to the northeast. If we're zooming in, we're also tracking this on radar. It looks like it's crossing Highway 15 and 275 right now, or in that general direction. It's going to be moving into the general direction just south of Highway 35 and Highway 16 just west of Pender. It is moving at 30 miles per hour, which it isn't going too fast, but of course that's damaging, destroying probably much of what it's covering, Tim.
Yeah, without a doubt. And of course, the tornado is growing in size and intensity. And we're going to try to get Ben McMillan and see if we can have him get him on a phoner. I know he was giving some live reports for the Weather Channel. We'll see if he can get a break in his activity. Okay, if we have a break in his activity, we'll try to get him and see if he can give us a live phoner. But then, in the meantime, very broad circulation here. You can see right in the center is that cone tornado. But because of all the moisture, Nathan, we're seeing here, look at how that cloud base is almost all the way down to the ground. And you can see the rotation there, that cyclonic or multiple left to right. Yeah, without a doubt. And you get those multiple vortices. They cause even more damage. But you can see the whole the mesocyclone, the parent rotation there with that tornado rotating very violently from left to right, and then in the back of the tornado from right to left, and that is called cyclonic flow. And you can see this tornado expanding in size once again. It looks like it's recirculated a little bit, but turning into a large cone tornado. It looks like it's also wanting to transition here into a wedge. So that's the second. Now there's the second. That's the first tornado right there. So we have
damaging tornadoes on the ground.
We have two large cone tornadoes. One is turning into a wedge, and I think I'll bring the storm back. There it is. The laptop went into, the computer went into sleep mode. But here we've got, and these people are out here. You can see other chasers out here getting ready to get out of there. But two very, very large. Wow, I haven't seen something like this in a number of years in my career here. Seeing two very large, almost wedge-like tornadoes, and the one on the right is a small wedge, and now we have a very large stovepipe tornado with this one, and so I don't think I could estimate, and even some satellite tornadoes going around that. So without a doubt, Nathan, and even with the sheer velocities, we're seeing inbound and outbound winds, probably with probably gate-to-gate shear, probably in the area of in this lowest gate here of about 130 to 140 knots here. So it's very, very strong. Obviously, radar doesn't matter at this point because we're showing a live picture near Pilger of Ben McMillan's stream. And when's the last time you can remember, over your years of storm chasing or watching other chasers, we had two large tornadoes on the ground at once? Can you remember back?
I haven't personally seen this, and I've gone chasing several times. I've never seen something like this. This is obviously what you see out in the plains on very rare occasions of chasing. You know, going out, there's many times you don't see anything at all, so to see something like this is very rare. Just to kind of give a perspective where this is in Cumming County right now. Two large tornadoes on the ground, likely strong to violent. We could be talking over EF3, I wouldn't be surprised at all right now. And that's 4 miles. This was about 10 minutes ago. This was 4 miles west of Wisner. Now this is northwest of the town of Wisner, going at about 30 miles per hour. We are still looking at this crossing over Highway 15, really close to Highway 15. They're probably on Highway 15, those storm chasers right now. And this is crossing just northwest of Wisner, going into a more rural area of Highway 15 towards Highway 16, just west of Pender and southwest of Thurston.
Absolutely amazing to be able to watch this unfold live with our viewers here. Obviously, you know, our thoughts and prayers are with the folks up here. Obviously, these two tornadoes look to be out in a rural area right now. That's great news. I think, based on what I saw here on radar, that probably the community of Pilger, probably at least took some kind of hit as these tornadoes went right through. So we'll continue to gather data on that. This storm moving off to the east-northeast, I believe, and that'll move towards Pender and Thurston, and eventually it will move over into Iowa. Conditions are very favorable for these tornadoes to continue to track for quite some time. And as we do this, we're still monitoring areas back to the west here in central Nebraska for more development. Now, are Nathan and I telling you that we expect twin tornadoes out of storms like this? Not necessarily, but atmospheric conditions, Nathan, are pretty ripe because of this morning's convection, the thunderstorms, because of all the juice in the atmosphere, the higher dew points, and because of the strong winds at the surface and aloft. We expect the potential for like this to continue. What do you think?
Yeah, certainly. And if you weren't with us before, we've already had reports of homes destroyed in or near Stanton. This was a report came in just less than a half hour ago. A home being destroyed approximately 6 to 7 miles northwest of Stanton, and that was moving across the Highway 275 east of Norfolk at that time. We've also had another report of a home destroyed either in Stanton. That was according to the storm report, but it looked like the storm went just to the west of Stanton. And this is moving again off to the northeast about 30 miles per hour. I'm expecting another tornado warning to be issued. It hasn't yet been, but it should be extended in the next 5 minutes or so. And this is moving towards the area of Highway 16 and Highway 15. This is already crossover Highway 15. This is in between Highway 15 and Highway 16, just south of Highway 35. This is southwest of the towns of Thurston and Pender.
Excellent. And
Emerson and Wakefield, just south of Wayne. Like I mentioned, Wayne was hit by an I think EF4 tornado back in October, so this looks like it's going just to the southeast of Wayne, within miles of the town. So you want to be in your safe spot. Still, if you're in just northeast of Pilger, again, this is a very rural area, but if you're just southeast of Wayne, you want to be in your safe spot. Obviously, we have two, at least what we saw just minutes ago, two violent strong to violent tornadoes on the ground.
Absolutely, and thank you for that great information, Nathan. We appreciate it. It's a pleasure to have you here joining me. Let's just back up here, folks. The time is 4:33 here on Monday. What you're looking at is storm chaser Ben McMillan of the Iowa Storm Chasing Network. Live, two tornadoes on the ground we've seen He's starting to, you can see now he's moving his position to get a better look at these tornadoes. We've been tracking this on air live for about 20 minutes now as the initial tornado touched down just about the 4 o'clock hour. A particularly dangerous situation, which is an elevated tornado watch box put forth by the Storm Prediction Center of Norman, Oklahoma. And of course, they work with the National Weather Service, and of course we're all partners through this to help get the information out to keep you safe. So it's hard to tell with this right now, but we have at least one very large damaging tornado. Of course, we're driving by some damage right there to some corn cribs, and I do know if there's significant damage, Ben and his team are trained. He's not a paramedic, but I think he's trained as a first responder at the very least, and they typically stop in these communities to offer support to help people if they're in danger. So the reason why he's still filming this and still staying with it is I don't think he's seen any significant damage at this point to where he's needed to stop and lend some assistance, and hopefully we can get him on the phone here. Okay, he's going to call in. Okay. So Ben typically works on a national level with the Weather Channel and other major networks, and that's how he makes his money. And he's always kind enough to give us this stream and help us out here for our viewers because of our friendship, which we appreciate. But again, large damaging tornado on the ground, and that is moving to the northeast, just outside of our viewing area. We expect more. Nathan, let's touch on this real quick. We expect more development back to the west of this,
right?
Really in the heart, this north central part of our viewing area, which that tornado watch. And do we have the image of the tornado watch? Can we bring that up? Because
yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and step in front of the camera. And of course, if you guys can bring me up here before Ben's stream isn't really much to see now because we've got some rain obscuring some of this, and we've got some damage as well, which we'll bring to you. But here is a look at the tornado watch right now. It's until 10 o'clock tonight. The one thunderstorm right now that you see here, the one thunderstorm you see, that's the one we're tracking that's produced multiple tornadoes here. Obviously, we've been tracking this for about 20 minutes now. Things are quiet, but as we're monitoring the satellite here, we do expect more activity to the west of this. And of course, this tornado watch, PDS, or particularly dangerous situation, goes all the way out here just to about Buffalo County and the counties just to north of that. So right now, Grand Island is not in it. Hall County, Hamilton County, also Adams County, Clay County, the areas that got hit on Saturday night are not in this, at least at this point. There's still a layer of warm air to the south here, just up to about the southern edge of the tornado watch here. If we can get some storms to develop there, it would be very volatile as well. But in the meantime, here's where we have the tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. And if you're wondering why we're kind of repeating some of this information, well, in TV, our viewers stay with us. Some join us a little later. They get home from work, they get back from school, whatever the situation may be. So it's important that we repeat the information every few minutes so we can keep everybody up to date. Of course, if you're joining us, we appreciate you joining us. Obviously, we're grateful that you choose KSNB for your severe weather coverage, and Nathan Gogo and I are here and we'll be here all night, and you can expect more interruptions to programs. So Nathan, let's go back to the stream one more time here and see what he's got. Do you have any warning information here with this?
Go through real quick the counties that are under this PDS watch. PDS stands for, of course, particularly dangerous situation. Those are rarely ever issued, only in the most severe cases where we're expecting violent tornadoes or intense tornadoes across that area. So the counties issued are Custer and Blaine, Brown, Kiapaha, Rock, Loop, Garfield, Wheeler, Holt, Boyd, Valley, Greeley, Sherman, Howard, and this also includes Boone and Antelope, Nance, I believe, and then Hamilton and not Hamilton, just Merrick and Polk in Butler counties as well.
Can we bring the stream back up, guys? Do we have access to that? Okay, thank you very much. So go ahead, Nathan. I just wanted to bring the stream back up.
But we're continuing to see other storms starting to form once this cap's starting to break, and we're starting to see multiple storms pushing out. Nothing that's severe at this point, but with this environment, you're seeing a very ripe environment for tornadoes of the kind you're seeing on your screen right now. And that's not only off to our east, but we're talking about our counties in our viewing area just north of the Tri-Cities, where we have towns, of course, like O'Neill, Ord, and Albion and Fullerton. Those towns are at risk. So definitely, if you're in those counties we already listed, you want to have your safety plans ready to go and know where you're going to go in case something like this happens. Tim.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, what you're looking at right now, let's just get you up to date. Looks like those previous tornadoes have occluded or actually dissipated. Now what you're looking at is a wall cloud or a lowering here just outside of the rain area, and you can see that little V right there at the base of the thunderstorm. And so that's what Ben is tracking. It looks like here we should have new development forthcoming here pretty soon. Obviously, conditions are very ripe here for more tornadic activity here. And as we continue to watch Ben McMillan's stream, we should see, and I don't see any reason why we wouldn't, we should see. Let's go back to the stream, guys, because we're going to have another tornado developing here if we can stay with that. We should have a new tornado developing, and this would be looks like this new area of concern is now back just to the northeast of Pilger, and that's the information you just gave just a moment ago, right, Nathan?
Yeah, this is just 8 miles to the west of rather 7 miles to the north of Wisner, or 25 miles east of Norfolk. This is moving northeast at 30 miles per hour, and this is continuing until 5 p.m. tonight, this warning. And this is, of course, a confirmed tornado warning. What we're seeing, this is 7 miles north of Wisner. So we've been seeing, this is in Cumming County right now, and this is just a new tornado forming just to the north.
Yeah, we have a new tornado. There we go, right there. New tornado has now formed. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's exactly what we saw.
Yep, and it's about 3/4 of the way to the ground, so we obviously, it's condensated. There we go. You can see it all the way down the ground. So now we have a new tornado that's just formed. And this is Storm Chaser Ben McMillan of the Iowa Storm Chasing Network. Obviously, you folks have been following his stream off and on all severe weather season. And it looks like he's having a little problem with connectivity, obviously a very rural area, which is great news. But the modern technology, obviously, before where we just used to show you radar and we'd tell you about the storm, obviously now we can actually show you the storm. And you're seeing this tornado forming on the ground here, and it's moving off, luckily, well, not luckily, but it's moving eventually over towards Iowa. And as we watch this, we're seeing a new storm starting to develop now north of Norfolk, and that's just around just south of Pierce. So one good thing here is things are quiet a little closer to the Tri-Cities. As we see this tornado expanding in intensity, we will see more storms forming back. We'll get the storms forming back to the west. So
we have a tornado warning still from Brett Lyons. Spotter is 8 miles north of Wisner. Tornado on the ground 1 mile north of that. This is for Cumming, Thurston, Wayne counties. Confirmed tornado was located 8 miles north of Wisner, or 27 miles east of Norfolk, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Of course, again, Cumming, Thurston, Wayne, a tornado warning. Confirmed tornado located 8 miles north of Wisner. This is moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. Cumming County, of course, is in Cumming County. This was just issued a new warning from the National Weather Service in Omaha, Tim.
Okay, so what you're watching now, hopefully my mic is turned back on. I can just turn it off. Okay. Hopefully my mic's coming back on. Sorry about that, folks. I had to turn it off just for a second. I just chat with one of our engineers. What you're watching now is a live video stream from Storm Chaser Ben McMillan. He's in northeast Nebraska. We're watching another tornado live. It has caused confirmed damage up around the town of Pilger and areas. And as Nathan said, we've had some, I believe, some farmsteads and some homes that have been damaged. There was 2 tornadoes on the ground at once, which is quite rare. I've been in the severe weather community and storm chasing for the better part of 20 years, and it's not. You don't see this, especially with 2 very large tornadoes. You don't see that very often. Now, as Ben repositions his camera here, you can see one satellite tornado. It looks like a little rope tornado right there. And I still think we've got another large tornado just to the right. So what happens, Nathan, is on the outside, what the parent circulation is called the mesocyclone. On the outside and the whole thing rotates, and the wall cloud and the tornado form underneath that mesocyclone. And on the outside, you can still get tornadoes to form as well, and that's what we're seeing, these little satellite tornadoes right there. And they're just smaller ones, and they can do just as much. They can do just as much damage on the outside as to of the parent circulation is the main tornado. So we're seeing the continuation of multiple tornadoes here, and that almost looks like more like a landspout tornado, but nevertheless it can still do damage, and has been trying to get in better position. We have one tornado to the right, and then another one just over those trees there, and there's the main tornado right there. And wouldn't you know it, he's having a hard time with that just because of the way he's traveling and because of the windshield and where the car door meet. But now we have that tornado, that satellite tornado is growing in size. So once again, as we've been tracking all for about the last 45 minutes now, we have two very large tornadoes on the ground. And this is what we expect to be just the beginning of this event, as we have now some storms starting to form about 30 miles to the west of this one, right on Highway 81, or just to the north of Norfolk. And after that, we should see some more development back to the west of that. So things slowly building back to the west, Nathan. As we look at multiple tornadoes, what are your thoughts? Do you have any more information?
Well, we have, of course, this tornado that we're seeing. We don't even need storm reports seeing it because we see it right now. But we have, of course, you know, when you're in this rural area, you have a lot of farming land. A lot of times, the worst, what they're seeing is hail. So with this storm, we could be seeing up to 2-inch in diameter hail, which is very bad for crops, of course. But as we let's take a look at the radar. You can see
we're back to radar because we've lost Ben's stream.
And this is a tornado warning, including the towns of Thurston and Pender. This is moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. So if you are, or if you know someone in Thurston, they want to be in their shelter right now, and Pender. This is south of Wakefield and south of Emerson. But if you're in those towns as well, I would be seeking shelter as well. This is right basically south of Highway 35, moving in right over Highway 16 in the next couple minutes. And this is again moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour, kind of taking a wider view. This is moving into the far northeastern portions of the state to the southwest of Emerson. Winnebago, you're not in this yet, but this is just to the southwest of you. Looking out wide, you can see thunderstorms starting to build just north of Norfolk and near Randolph. These are in an environment that can definitely cause some rotation and have spin-ups. So we're continuing to monitor those as well. But obviously, the one we're looking at right now, or have been looking at for the past several minutes, is definitely the most. We've had multiple tornadoes on the ground, multiple vortices, and those only really happen on the most severe days where you can see intense tornadoes like we've already seen today, Tim.
Yeah, without a doubt. We're trying to get Ben's stream back up here. Looks like we've lost connection. Nevertheless, do you remember the last time you saw multiple tornadoes that size on the ground over the last, say, 10 years? I mean, obviously we get large tornadoes, but to see something like that and to watch it live,
to watch it live, yeah, that was incredible and to see. But I know that we've, I think, seen, I'm sure with April 27th, that was something that we've probably seen as well. But those twin tornadoes that big, that is something that is just rare to see, of course. South of Wakefield, of course, Emerson, Thurston. If you're in Thurston or know someone, that is in the line of fire right now. You want to be in your safe spot in Thurston and Pender. This is crossing over Highway 16 in southwest of Emerson and Wakefield. And
bring the stream back up, please, guys. Sorry, Nathan.
No,
we got
that's
another
fine.
Large tornado on the ground here.
And this is still the same system we're seeing. This is just to the southeast what you're seeing of Thurston, but this tornado on the ground, Thurston, you want to be in your safe spot. Emerson, just south of Emerson and Wakefield, you want to be in your safe spot, but really too close to call. I would be in your safe spot too. But obviously, we're seeing a large tornado right on the ground, a wedge-type tornado, Tim.
Yep, and let's just reset because we're getting close. It's 4:47 right now. We're just about 12 and a half minutes away from the top of the hour where we will be joining the News Channel 5 news. Of course, the news is right now severe weather, but we will continue to cover this inside the parameters of the 5 o'clock newscast unless there's been a decision made to do otherwise. But in the meantime, in the next 12 minutes or so, what you're watching here is a live stream of storm chaser Ben McMillan of the Iowa Storm Chasing Network.
And I do have new information, sad information actually. This is from this is in Pilger, Nebraska. We have catastrophic damage, need emergency personnel as soon as possible, multiple injuries in the town of Pilger, Nebraska.
And that's not surprising based what we saw obviously on the video, but also here privately on our storm relative velocities on the radar. The couplet was very strong, very significant rotation showing, which we know because we have a tornado, but actually with the debris that was showing up on the radar, and of course what we saw live on the live video, it's not surprising that there is significant damage to the town of Pilger. So that's very sad, obviously.
But this is, again, moving to the northeast. This is northeast of Pilger now. You can see Pilger obviously received catastrophic damage from the storm report. This is southeast of Wayne, south of Wakefield. If you're in Thurston, again, you are in the line of fire. You want to be in your safe spot right now. This is heading into far northeastern Nebraska. In Pender, you want to be in your safe spot, already causing catastrophic damage. Obviously, we have a strong to violent tornado continuing on the ground. This is a long track tornado that we've seen multiple tornadoes, twin tornadoes, and multiple vortices. So.
Yep, and just we'll stay on the video stream as long as we have it, but I'm looking at radar now, and now we have a new storm that's going up just to the northwest of Broken Bow, and of course we'll continue to monitor that as that storm should quickly become severe. I want to let the folks know just around between. Just to the northwest, about 5 to 10 miles northwest of Broken Bow, new storm going up. That'll move towards Sargent and Burwell, between Burwell and Ord, and eventually track up towards Bartlett. So again, the new development here, just to the north of the Tri-Cities. It looks like maybe another storm trying to form here around the Holdridge area. So we'll continue to track and monitor that. Conditions very favorable, dare I say ripe. For tornadic development, just like what you're seeing live from storm chaser Ben McMillan. And Nathan, it won't take long when these storms really get going, like this one in Broken Bow. It won't take long for it to become severe, put down large hail, and of course eventually develop a tornado. And what we're monitoring right now is Custer Valley, I would say Sherman, Howard, and Greeley counties for this newest development. So if you're in Custer County, Sherman Valley, Greeley, and Howard, of course, you are in this tornado watch as we continue to watch a very large and damaging, destructive tornado on the ground in northeast Nebraska. We expect the potential, once again, unfortunately, for this type of development back here closer to our area, and a new storm going up just behind this particular one by Norfolk, and then here, excuse me, again in Custer County, a new storm developing.
Yeah, this is moving into the areas of Thurston, just to the west. Again, if you're in Thurston, you want to be in your safe spots. This is just off to the west of Pender. This is crossing, just crossed Highway 16 west of Thurston and Pender, and now coming close to Highway 9, which runs along and feeds into the town of Thurston, southwest of Emerson, and south of Wakefield, now to the southeast, just to the southeast of Wayne. Thurston, you're probably seeing some heavy rain, hail. You're not going to be able to see this, at least now, because you're probably seeing some very heavy rain, some large hail. You want to be in your safe spot, and don't go out looking for this. This is northwest of Pender. It looks like it might just go to the north of you, Pender, but be safe. Too close to call. Be in your safe spot, Pender.
Yeah, and I just want to update here. The town where the damage, Pilger. Not Pilger, Pilger. So I just wanted to update that because obviously Nathan and I are still learning some of the pronunciations of some of the towns, so forgive us for that. Obviously here, our goal here is to keep you safe, and as we learn the appropriate pronunciations of these towns, the town of Pilger in northeast Nebraska has sustained what we understand to be heavy damage. Do we have any reports, Nathan, of injuries? Or worse at this point?
Well, we've had, with that, at Pilger, we saw multiple injuries,
okay.
And they were seeking paramedics and people to help assist. They needed emergency personnel as soon as possible because of multiple injuries, and they said they saw extensive catastrophic damage in Pilger. Now, the tornado, the spotter was 2 miles southeast of Beamer, and they were seeing a large to our north, so about 10 to 12 miles north of Beamer, a large stovepipe tornado at 4:50 p.m., which is just a couple minutes ago, and we're seeing that live right now on our screen, and we're going to continue to track this as we go through the next several minutes. We're starting to see, obviously, other storms spike up across the area just to the north of Broken Bow. These have the chance of going severe as well. We have an atmosphere very ripe for these types of tornadoes. Tim.
Yep, and let's switch back to radar if we can, guys. Let's take a look at our radar. We'll look at the county level radar if we can bring that up, and we'll just go off the stream here. There we go. And what we're seeing, obviously, that large damaging tornado in this storm up in extreme northeastern Nebraska. But just a moment ago, we talked about a new storm starting to develop. This is in Custer County, just to the northwest, I believe, of Broken Bow. And of course, we'll see this move as it matures. We'll see it move up towards Garfield and Valley County, maybe just clipping Sherman County, and then moving over towards Greeley County, maybe Wheeler, and maybe clipping Howard. But for right now, this is the next particular storm we're watching here. And again, we've seen over the last, for the better part of 45 minutes, very large destructive tornadoes. We have confirmed damage. And unfortunately, folks in this part of our viewing area, from Custer County back up through, well, let's go through the valley, Sherman, Howard, Garfield, Wheeler, all the way over to Boone County, Nance, Merrick, even up to Antelope County. You're all in this particularly dangerous situation, which is an elevated tornado watch until 10 o'clock. So we had to really, we saw the threat over the last few days. Obviously, we dealt with the severe weather situation in the southern part of south central Nebraska on Saturday night, and with also northern Nebraska and central Nebraska experiencing some of that dangerous weather. But we had to get through this morning's thunderstorms to see how conditions played out. Would the atmosphere recover? Would the sun come back out and heat up the atmosphere? Where would the outflow boundaries be, and where would the warm front set up? And then now we have these answers. And of course, at this point in time, the major threat is north of Interstate 80. And of course, we know what's happened here over the last 45 minutes to an hour up in northeastern part of Nebraska. But moving back to the west now, around Broken Bow in Custer County, we have a new storm developing very quickly, and that is already starting to produce some hail. I had the hail tracker on it in just a moment. You can see how it's starting to grow in size here, but I want to stay at the county level radar here, and I'm not going to zoom in yet because we don't have a warning on it, number one, and we do anticipate this to move over towards Garfield and also Valley counties, and then over into Greene and maybe Wheeler County. So that would be over the next hour or two. But in the meantime, starting to show in Phelps County just a little bit of development right here, and of course that's just southwest of Buffalo County. And down here around Hastings, down to the Kansas border, Hall County, Grand Island, we're still a little capped off down here. So if we just take Interstate 80 and just have an imaginary box over this and just cut it out, we've got warm air aloft that's suppressing any development. At this point, we could get along the rest of the entire evening with not even seeing a thunderstorm, or maybe just one or two storms to the south of Interstate 80. But in the meantime, we're really focusing up here. Now, as soon as we see more signs, and I think we're starting to see those, Nathan, although I think it's going to take a little bit while longer, potentially we could see another tornado watch added on here to up and down Highway 81, maybe a little to the west of that, and obviously off to the east as well. But no tornado watch, at least at this point. And Nathan, maybe you can check. Maybe the Storm Prediction Center is monitoring this area still with the National Weather Service. But you can see here for the time being, we've got this huge thunderstorm in northeast Nebraska that's produced multiple damaging tornadoes. We know that's going on. And then we see this back building just to the east of Pierce County, right here, another storm back building. And then, of course, this activity, which is really in the western part of our viewing area here, or the west central, right in the heart of our viewing area, that's going to track right through the northern section of our viewing area. So we are concerned about this next storm. Even though there's no warnings on it yet, it shouldn't be too much longer if the way the conditions are, that something will get going with this. Nathan, do you have anything to add at this point?
Not really. We are still waiting to see. They were thinking the Storm Prediction Center of sending out a tornado watch that would include not only south of Interstate 80, but that, like you said, is having trouble. The forcing is having trouble. So we do have the right conditions for severe weather, but it's just whether or not we're going to get tornado or thunderstorms actually form.
Okay.
We do have a confirmed tornado. This is just this minute. Was located about 3 miles south of Wakefield, or 24 miles south of Ponca. That was moving north at 35 miles per hour. So that's the same storm we've been tracking for quite a while now.
Okay.
And we're continuing to see, obviously, a very damaging tornado. At least we saw minutes ago, and that did damage to the town of Pilger, just to the southwest of Wayne. And this is moving into the general direction of Thurston, just west of Thurston, and moving north at 35 miles per hour, Tim.
Okay. Hey, why don't we go ahead and move to the west, to the storm just to the west of this, and then let's move over towards Broken Bow. And if you'll do that for me, I'm going to stay on camera. We only have about 2 minutes left, and then we're going to reopen the 5 o'clock newscast, and then we'll continue we'll go ahead and continue our severe weather coverage within, and also bring you some news. But in the meantime, if you can bring me back up on the radar here, guys, we'll take a look here from Pierce to Wayne. There's that next storm developing right down the line of this tornadic thunderstorm. And then if we move off to the west here, let's move over towards Custer County. Nathan, let's move over to Custer County. Now, that's the storm relative velocity. You'll have to go back to that last image and then just drag it over manually, because that's the way I have it set up. So in the meantime, what we're looking at here is this is storm relative velocities. Obviously, none of these reds have any significance to where we're looking at now. But here you can see Custer County as Nathan zooms into this for me. Just to the north of Broken Bow, you can see where that storm is here, and that's going to continue to push off to the east. Luckily, though, nothing severe warned yet, but that will change probably here, I would think, for certain over the next half hour or so. And you can already see that kidney bean shape on this storm here with a little bit of a pendant here, right here. So I'll step back. That's what we're monitoring right now. As Nathan, you'll probably have to just go out of that image and then just go to a different radar image here. So in the meantime, as I watch storm chaser Ben McMillan's stream here, I'm not seeing he's tracking any more tornadoes. That's fantastic news. As he moves up into extreme northeast part of Nebraska, as our attention now turns towards central Nebraska, north central Nebraska, right around Custer County. So here's what I want to do. We're just a few seconds away from the top of the hour, where we're going to turn over everything to the 5 o'clock newscast. We'll bring in Colin Murphy and Katie Gauthier, and we'll continue our severe weather coverage here within the newscast. So why don't we go ahead and do that right now, and Nathan and I will be back and do the severe weather coverage.
Live from News 5. This is News 5 at 5 in high definition.
Twin tornadoes touched down in Stanton County across the area, and the large, dangerous tornadoes caused damage.
And Hastings residents are cleaning up after these severe storms this weekend.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Katie Gauthier.
And I'm Colin Murphy. It was an active weekend of severe weather. It's hard to believe, but we have a chance for more storms tonight.
And we've already seen that severe weather. Those two tornadoes touched down in northeastern Nebraska. With a look at the latest conditions, we'll bring in once again our team meteorologists tonight, Tim Jones and Nathan Gogo. They are joining us from the Storm Tracker 5 Weather Center. And Tim, what's the latest out there?
Well, Colin and Katie, here's what we have going on right now. We've obviously are under a very strong and dangerous tornado watch. We call that a particularly dangerous situation. It's a very rare tornado watch issued by the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma, and it's because what we saw is very dangerous atmospheric conditions that have set up, especially in northern and northeastern Nebraska. Now, here are down around the Tri-Cities and south of the Tri-Cities, things are still pretty quiet, and we still have a little bit of inhibition, convective inhibition, or warm air aloft that's suppressing any development here. But now you can see up in Custer County, closer here, right in the heart of our viewing area, a new storm going up. Now, we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning on it yet, but just I've watched this here in about the last 10 minutes to watch this grow in intensity. So this will be the next storm that really will grow and get going. So as I look at my tool here, we'll see this storm move towards Sargent, towards Burwell, maybe just kind of clip Ord, and then move towards Bartlett and Greeley Center. So that would be where we anticipate this storm to track, unless there's a deviation in movement over the next half hour or so. That'll be where it'll track. Now, again, these counties for now are shaded in yellow is the PDS tornado watch. It does not include the Tri-Cities at this point, but rather north of Interstate 80. Now, down to the south, we still do not have, we're monitoring chances for thunderstorm development, but it may take another hour or two. So why don't we roll this video here? This was up, unfortunately, these tornadoes. This is from Storm Chaser Ben McMillan. You watched this live here on KSNB TV just in the last 45 minutes or so. Very rare to see very large tornadoes like this. Those two very damaging, destructive tornadoes that hit the town of Pilger, caused extensive damage through there. As meteorologist Nathan Gogo reports, plenty of damage. Also injuries. We hope nothing worse at this point. And meteorologist Nathan Gogo here is with me in the Weather Center. Why don't you update as we watch this? Not only are there two main tornadoes, but even some satellite tornadoes around this as well. And this storm continues to be tornadic as it tracks toward northwestern Iowa. Do you have any more quickly, do you have any more updates with any more damage from Pilger at this point?
Last update we had was about 5 minutes ago. That was for counties of Thurston and Wayne counties till 5:15 p.m. in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And that was a confirmed tornado at 4:56. And obviously we've been seeing this on our screen for the past hour or so. And this is for Thurston and Wayne counties until 5:15 p.m. This tornado is moving north at 35 miles per hour. This is a confirmed tornado. Of course, like you said, we had a report of multiple injuries and in Pilger, and also they were looking for, they had catastrophic damage, looking for medical assistance there just about 20 to 30 minutes ago.
Okay. Now, before I send it back to Colin and Katie, if we can come back to the radar just one more time, we can give folks, things are somewhat quieting down here, although we have some initial development, but I think we can get a little bit of the newscast going here, and of course we'll continue to monitor this. But just real quick, we have one storm going here in Custer County, and then another one just blowing up in northeast Phelps County, and of course that would move towards the Kearney area. So those are the two storms. You can see just that little blip on radar right in the Phelps County area. But again, no warnings here on either of these two storms that are forming. Remember, we're in a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch, until 10 o'clock tonight, and we'll be here all night long to monitor the situation. Colin and Katie?
Now, your Storm Tracker 5 forecast with meteorologist Tim Jones.
Well, from the Storm Tracker 5 Weather Center, meteorologist Tim Jones here, obviously with meteorologist Nathan Gogo, tracking a very volatile situation here. If you've been watching over the last hour, we've been tracking and streaming live video from Storm Tracker, from Storm Chaser Ben McMillan. Of course, we watched significant tornadoes as they unfortunately did significant damage to the town of Pilger in northeast Nebraska. There's the remnants of this storm still going strong here as it slowly starts to move over the Missouri River Valley into Iowa. A little bit more development back to the east here. Then we have this other storm here in Custer County that we've been watching. But before we zoom in on this, because the important thing is, at least not yet, we're seeing a little bit of development here in the heart of our viewing area, but no warnings on these yet. So this would be a good time to get the peripheral information out of the way, so to speak. The counties in yellow here represent a particularly dangerous situation. It's an elevated tornado watch issued by the Storm Prediction Center. They only issue it on occasions when large, destructive, and of course significant tornadoes will form. And obviously we've seen that already come, unfortunately, to fruition here in the last hour or so. If you're watching those tornadoes live on air as Nathan and I were showing them to you. Custer County, just on the edges of Blaine and Loup County, this storm getting going. It's already producing some small hail as we continue to see that move off and continue to grow in intensity. Right now I'm being told it's moving to the north here. But as we start to see that grow, and if it continues on its course, we can have a chance for that particular storm to form a tornado. As down to the south now, we're starting to see more development here in Buffalo County, just along Interstate 80, right over the Kearney area. Of course, that has another chance of producing a tornado as well as we move in here to the Custer County storm. You can see right to the north of Broken Bow around Sargent, this particular storm, just some heavy rain now. This is the developing stage, so if you saw this storm within about 10 to 15 miles, it would be probably what we would consider to be an LP or low precipitation supercell, already rotating in the mid-levels here, but just starting to develop some hail in the main part of the thunderstorm, just starting to develop a precipitation core, and then eventually as that parent rotation starts to lower to the ground, we have that chance for a tornado. Now let's move to the south, Nathan, and here right around Kearney and Gibbon, to the west of Shelton, of course, this is Buffalo County, just pushing off, and this will move. We don't really have a storm movement on this, but this is going to either move north or a little bit northeast here. Just some rain developing out of this as now, but this is not what I would consider to be a mature thunderstorm. And Nathan, what do you have for us here?
We do have the extended tornado watch for Buffalo, Dawson, Hall, and Hamilton and York counties until 10 p.m. tonight, and that also includes still Greeley, Howard, Merrick, Nance, Polk, Sherman, and Valley. So basically what this is, new information, a tornado watch now for Buffalo, Dawson, Hall, Hamilton, and York, and that is, I'm sure, after they saw a storm starting to go just near Kearney. That's what made them do that.
And let's see if it's been updated on our graphic here as we're actually holding this. Okay, so here we go. So it's been extended just about one tier of counties down to Interstate 80, if I have that correct. Is that right? Just these tier of counties right along Interstate 80. Okay, so Hastings is not in it yet, nor is Holdridge, nor are any of our viewers in our Kansas counties as well. So again, is this until 10 o'clock as well? Is that what you said?
I believe so. It's until, yep, 10 o'clock.
Okay, okay. So again, these two developing thunderstorms that we just showed you, we're tracking. At the current time, no warnings on them. I wouldn't be surprised if we at least had a severe thunderstorm warning on the Custer County storm coming out here in the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. Immediately, large hail and winds would be the main threats. With heavy rain, of course, the tornado threat exists, and there's our warning right there, Nathan, that should be out here on National Weather Service chat. Just been issued, so we know. And if you can move one slide forward for me, we'll have the county warnings here. Obviously, the northern half of Custer County, as well as the extreme southeastern portion of Blaine County, and also Loop County as well. And if you can give me the time of expiration, the time right now is 5:18. I'm going to say it's in effect at least until 5:45 or 6 o'clock.
It's in effect until 6 p.m. This is for not winds, but for hail rather,
Okay.
up to 1.25 inches. That's for Custer and Loop counties until 6 p.m.
Okay, and of course with this movement, we're seeing the core of the storm moving up towards Loop County, and then also towards, it'll just clip the Burwell area. But I think in the next, probably within 30 minutes, we're probably, if not sooner, we're looking at another potential threat for a tornado. So we'll keep you updated here. And in the meantime, I'm going to send it to break. We'll continue with the News Channel 5 News at 5 coming up in just a minute. Okay, I want to keep you updated here on the current weather situation. Obviously, we have a tornado watch here in effect until 10 o'clock tonight, and that is all the counties here shaded in yellow. And this is a rare tornado watch issued by the Storm Prediction Center, which is categorized as a particularly dangerous situation or a PDS type watch. Don't get issued very often. There's the tornadic thunderstorm here crossing over into Iowa just south of Sioux City. Let's go back to Custer County, Nathan, and we can see here we do have a severe thunderstorm warning on this particular storm. It's moving up to Loop County and just kind of clipping Blaine County as well here. Large hail, the main threat out of this right now. Again, it's in effect until 6 o'clock, and then a new storm developing down to its south-southeast right around the Kearney area, moving over towards Gibbon and Wood River here. And of course, that's Buffalo County, I believe, and that's no severe thunderstorm warning on that, but of course conditions are extremely favorable for these storms to become severe and have ultimately produced tornadoes. Now, on the wider view, nothing down to the south of Interstate 80. Still questionable whether we'll get storms to develop tonight because of warm air aloft south of Interstate 80. Obviously, that would include Hastings and Holdridge as well. But in the meantime, meteorologist Nathan Gogo and I are here all night long, and we will be breaking into coverage as necessary to keep you, our viewers, safe at home. In the meantime, I'm going to throw it to break. Colin O'Cady will be right back with more information.